Brown splitting the defense, found there.
You look at Melton, you look at Draymond.
Nice lay-in from the floor to handle failure, to handle success, and learn through reps of gameplay.
Walker. Facilitate. Walker. No. Up and under. Woo. You know, Boston got a very interesting situation on hand because when you look at, you know, how they came into the season without Jason Tatum, I don't think no one would be able to envision that Brown would be able to take these guys to 36 wins. So when you look at the totality of the situation, you know, I wasn't one of the ones who thought, you know, Brown was this type of player, you know, because when you look at Boston, I've always looked at Brown as the Robin to, you know, Batman in the situation. But it looks like it appears to be kind of like that Oklahoma situation when James Harden left for Houston and he was able to showcase his talent as a superstar in this league. Now, I know when Tatum gets back, you know, Brown is going to be looking at it from the standpoint of he wants more reps. He wants more, you know, involvement in the offense, you know, in his position with the team. So I know in a couple years and maybe next year, you know, Boston is going to have to address this situation because, you know, Brown is he low-key is looking like the D-Wade of early down, obviously in Miami, but not the D-Wade at so much speed. But if you look at that, that's a D-Wade right there. He looks like D-Wade right now. So, you know, I think that Boston's going to have to either, you know, move Tatum or get rid of Brown because when you look at it, you know, Brown is pretty much doing his thing. You know, he's averaging 29, 7, and 5. And I think it's going to be a situation where Brown is going to have to, you know, get his own team. And, you know, when Tatum comes back, if he's a shell of himself, this is going to be something that is going to have to be addressed, whether they, you know, retool his contract and, you know, pay Brown a little bit more. But after this type of reps from this season, it's going to be very hard for me to see him in a lesser role, you know, if it's with this team or, you know, they decide to, you know, flip him and, you know, Tatum. But it all depends on how Tatum comes back and if he's a shell of himself. So, you know, get down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys see this in Brown prior to Jason Tatum hurting his Achilles tendons? And also, let me know, you know, if you guys think that, you know, Boston is going to be able to move on from him or you think they're going to be able to keep both of these guys.